It has been the end of an extremely long day, so you've packed a bowl, turned on your favorite console, and are ready to be completely immersed in a virtual world, only to be immediately hit by an insane amount of on-screen elements that may or may not actually pertain to what you're doing in that very moment. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is what is known as bad UI. Something that I didn't realize truly bothered me until I watched the latest trailer for Assassin's Creed Shadows. But hold up, wait a minute, let's go back to the beginning. UI was pretty much a necessity for old school gaming, as it told you a bunch of useful information like how many lives you have, collectibles, or even what's currently equipped in your inventory. But obviously, as the years went on, games got better in both graphics and realism. As a result, developers needed to find new and interesting ways to integrate UI into these more realistic looking settings, sometimes even completely removing it altogether. It didn't really hit me how much I don't need the presence of UI until I played a game like Red Dead Redemption 2. Rockstar came out of left field and did the unthinkable. They gave you the option to completely remove the minimap, which I remember at the time seemed pretty radical to me, but getting rid of that crappy little circle not only gave me more screen space, but it also just added further immersion into what already felt like a hyper-realistic virtual world. But unfortunately, not all modern games have taken a liking to this more minimalist approach. And that's why I need to shine the spotlight on a company that consistently releases games with what I personally view as terrible UI. Their name rhymes with Ubisoft. Alright, yes, I know it's extremely easy to jump on the Ubisoft hate train right now, but these games really do have some of the most eye-gouging UI that I have ever seen. You've got literal numbers that float above enemies' heads, blocks of text on the left side that will sometimes span multiple bullet points of text, and if you're in the middle of stealth and someone has spotted you, well, don't worry, there's a red symbol smack dab in the middle of the screen to let you know that you're about to get your ass beat. It's too damn much. Compare this to another stealth-heavy game like The Last of Us, and all the information you need is designated to this one super tiny corner of the screen. Instead of using on-screen text to let you know that you've been spotted, they instead use audio cues to let you know that shit's about to go down. What's even more frustrating is that this over-reliance on UI continues to plague their games even outside of Assassin's Creed. Let's compare Far Cry 2 to its much more popular sequel. While Far Cry 3 was obviously much better in terms of story and gameplay, it also just felt like the modern day equivalent of getting malware. New tutorial unlocked. You just earned 4 new equipment recipes. You have the ability to craft 1 new weapon recipe. You found a new boat. Would you like to read the lore about it? Compare this to Far Cry 2, which overall just is much better at keeping the on-screen elements very minimal. I also really like that instead of fully pausing the game to look at your map, the protagonist just pulls one right out of his back pocket, something that we later see in a game like Firewatch. And yes, while I know in real life a map wouldn't actively show your location as you move, I still just kind of prefer this over fully pausing the game. Not only does it add that sense of realism, but it also keeps you on your toes as you could potentially be attacked at any moment if you're not paying attention. While I could sit here and complain about Ubisoft all day, this, unfortunately, isn't even the tip of the poo-poo iceberg. Take The Witcher 3 as another example. A game I've personally sunk countless hours into just for the story elements alone. But holy hell, I was completely overwhelmed the first time I saw this screen. This minimap is huge and just has so many icons scattered around it at any given time. There's also a weather indicator, which, made sense for Breath of the Wild, but it's got no actual effect on gameplay here. Then you've got these ugly looking button prompts on the bottom right, just in case you forget that X is the jump button or that square is the attack button. But the worst offense? Press R to bread. Press R to bread? Last but not least, I need to talk about a small game studio that you may or may not have heard of at this point. FromSoft. While visually these games don't have as much going on the screen, sometimes it can feel like they don't tell you enough, like with Elden Ring and these tiny icons that show up below your health meter. On day one, there was no real way to tell what these symbols actually meant, some of which can have some pretty detrimental effects if you're not paying attention. They're almost the complete opposite of Ubisoft, where I feel like I just need a little more information to understand what's happening around me. Not to mention this super confusing menu design that they have kept in every single entry since Demon's Souls. While I feel like the majority of us got used to how the system works, From a new player perspective, it really is just not the most user-friendly design. And while I know the majority of people that play these games probably aren't using ranged weapons, it always takes me a good 3 to 5 business days to figure out how to actually shoot a bow. And with that, I'm going to take this opportunity to segue into menu design, because we all know in video games there have been some pretty obnoxious menus from both a design and functional standpoint. While I can sit here and complain about every game that has terrible UI, I gotta give props to companies like Atlus, who consistently make some of the most flashy and eye-catching on-screen elements out there. JRPGs are a genre that I've always relied heavily on both text and menu systems and gameplay, so the lovely people at Atlus said,
"Make it sexy, okay? It has to be sexy, otherwise you don't eat."
Their on-screen elements are colorful, flashy, and play into the overall themes of each game. Now take a look at another game in this genre, Xenoblade Chronicles.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
While UI can seem like such a small thing, I really do think it makes a big difference, especially when it comes to the overall immersion that you're trying to create. Take Overwatch as another example. They were one of the first online competitive games to feature a more transparent UI, which would later be adopted by other games like Valorant and the now very popular Marvel Rivals. Obviously, a lot of this is going to depend on the genre of game, as some games may need more UI elements than others. It just baffles me that we're still releasing games that shove way too much into the player's face. The good news is that it feels like more games are offering options that let you customize the UI. Options that let you hide or even toggle it with the touch of a button really make my ADHD brain happy. Feel free to blast yourselves all over the comments section with some of your opinions on what are some of your favorite or least favorite gaming UIs. Better yet, is a bad or a messy UI enough to turn you off from certain games completely? And if there's anything you've gotten from this video, here are a few words of wisdom. Give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. Teach a fish to man,